Today's video will be on congruent figures. So our learning goals for today, by the end of the lesson you'll be able to use the language that's associated with congruence, you'll be able to identify congruent pairs, and you'll be able to write congruent statements. So congruence, what does that actually mean? So a figure, this is part of the language that you'll need, a figure is a shape, a diagram, or an illustration. So for instance, we've got 4 figures down the bottom, so we've got 4 different shapes there. So 2 figures are congruent if one of them can be transformed to the other using transformations such as reflection. So if they're the mirror image of each other, they would be congruent. If they are translated, so if one's just moved a certain distance from the other, they would still be congruent, or if they've been rotated. So you can see down the bottom here, this might be our original image here. You can see that we've got shapes that are the mirror image. So this one here is the reflection, the mirror image. This one here has been moved a certain distance on the end here, so this one's the translation. So it's exactly the same, it's just been moved across the page a bit. And this one here is exactly the same, it's just been rotated. So that's an example of rotation. So you can see that all 3 of those are exactly the same as the first one, they've just been moved, rotated, or reflected. So congruent figures are the same shape and they're the same size. You can see down the bottom all 4 of those shapes are the same size and they're the same shape. So that's very important for congruence. If they're not the same shape or they're not the same size, they can't be congruent. Okay, so corresponding or matching parts of a figure have the same geometric properties. So if we look at these triangles down the bottom, so we've got triangle A, B, and C, and triangle D, E, and F, and I have no idea why my pen keeps changing color, so let's just ignore that. Okay, so if we look at these triangles, they've kind of got some markings. So in the corner here, they're both marked with a right angle triangle. So we've learned earlier that lines on a side mean that they're the same length. We've also got something similar for angles. So up here, you can see that this angle has got like a circle, and this one has also got a circle. So that means that they are corresponding. Whether this one's got a coloured in circle and this one's also got a coloured in circle, it means that those 2 are corresponding. So just like matching lines mean they're the same length, those matching circles means that they're the same angle. Okay, I'll just clear that page there. So if we look here, vertex C corresponds to vertex E. So as I just said, this angle here on C corresponds to this angle here on E. They're exactly the same. So side AB, so the side between these 2, corresponds to side FD. So it's the side that links the right angle to that coloured in angle. The angle B corresponds to angle D. We've done that before. Angle B, that dot coloured in dot corresponds to that coloured in dot. And a congruent statement can be written using a symbol that kind of looks like an equal sign with an extra line. So for instance, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle FD and E. So we kind of write the triangle in matching pairs. So A is the side that corresponds with F, B corresponds with D, and C corresponds with E. So we kind of write them in the matching orders there. Okay, so for our worked examples, what we have to do here is we have 2 quadrilaterals that are congruent, and we have to name the objects in the quadrilateral E, F, G, H that corresponds to the objects in the quadrilateral A, B, and C, A, B, C, D. So the first one, A, we've got the vertex C. So we're looking here at C. We have to see which parts on this one down the bottom, so on our quadrilateral E, F, G, H, which one corresponds to that. So we can look there, it's kind of at the connected to a small side and a slightly longer side, and it's a wide-ish angle, so we can see that that actually corresponds to G. So vertex C corresponds to vertex G. For B, it's side AB, so side AB corresponds to side, and we're going to see which side that corresponds to. So AB is the longest side on this quadrilateral, so we're looking for the longest side on the other one, and the longest side here is between E and H. And our last question, C, it says angle C corresponds to what? Well, we've already worked out what vertex C corresponds to. The angle C will also correspond to angle G. And that's all we have for today's video. Hopefully that's quite clear and easy for you guys. Any questions, make sure you ask.